Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Newton from the Krannert School, and we're joined today by Jim and Janet Mellott. They are the owners of Northwest Interiors in Elkhart, Indiana. We'll get into what that is in just a second, but you're both Purdue graduates, and my understanding is you met here at Purdue,
on a
correct?
blind date.
That is correct.
On a blind date, and I want to ask how many years later, but
A long time.
a few years later, it all worked out. You went into different paths, though. You weren't entrepreneurs right off the bat. You went more, Jim, into the corporate side.
Correct. That's
and
correct.
you were a Spanish
I
teacher.
was a Spanish teacher.
All right. Why did you decide then to start your own company?
Well, it kind of started out where I was going to school at night, getting my MBA, and I was gone 2 days a week at night. I wouldn't get home till 9:30, and I'd studied the other 2 days. And Jan is the kind of person that has to be doing something. She can't be just sitting around doing nothing. So
It was after I quit teaching, had our first son, our first child, and was going to be a housewife the rest of my life. My mother was a housewife, and back then a lot of women were housewives. So that was my goal, but I was very bored. And so we had a neighbor that actually used his daughters to babysit, had a van conversion company where the girls made double knit drapes for the vans, and the girls were tired of doing it. And so they said, "Will you do it?" So I started making double knit van curtains in our basement, and then vans took off, and everybody said, "Why don't you start a business?" And I said, "Well, I've never run an industrial machine. I was on my little home singer, and I'd never worked in a factory." And the rest is history. Jim said, we don't want to look back and say, why didn't we? And so we started doing van curtains full time.
And so basically, Northwest Interiors, you do bedding, drapes, things for the RV industry now.
Correct.
And you sell direct. Now you go directly to manufacturers, right? You're not selling to consumers. You're selling
no,
to the
we sell to
manufacturers.
basically three companies now. The RV industry is consolidated into three companies, although we sell individual plants. They each have plants, and we will sell to their plant 102, 103, whatever. Individual plants is what we sell to, but there's been a lot of consolidation in the industry, so it's a different market at this point.
I'm always curious when I hear about family companies. So obviously you spend time at home together, and now you have a company together, and you're still together.
We're still together.
How does that happen? Because I love my spouse. I'm not sure I could work with my spouse 24 hours a day.
I will tell the story, and people find this hard to believe. I spend less time with my spouse than 80 to 90% of the people on the planet. And that is because we don't ride to work together, never have. Our hours are different, and we're doing different things at the plant. I would say the most time we spend together in any given day is 10 minutes. And that's hard for a lot of people to work or believe. It's because we're doing different things. She's out in the plant doing production. I'm in the office doing whatever. And then for years, I drove the truck, so I wasn't even around. But now I would say 40% of our conversation is about what's for dinner or are we going out this weekend.
That I understand.
But
That I understand.
we really do not have that much contact at work.
When you do, you can't agree on everything.
No.
When you have disagreements, how do you settle things? Because it looks to me like it's a 1-1 vote here.
It is, always has been.
That it's. I mean, he knows what he knows best, and I know what I know best, and usually we.
Yes,
compromise on
anything that has to do with production or whatever, I don't get involved in. Jan is probably the best sewer in Elkhart County, and she has the best production techniques. So there's nothing for me to get involved in as far as production goes.
Now, it looks like this family tradition is continuing. My understanding is
It
your
is.
son is now involved
Our
in the
son
company.
and his wife,
Okay.
2 Purdue grads, a pharmacist, PharmD, she is, and he was a business, Krannert, and he was in sales, and they have joined our business. And
Now, I'm sure you've given them some advice on how to, again, run a family business and keep the family together,
keep it together.
and keep the business
Yep,
together.
Yep. We allow our daughter-in-law a lot of time off. The hardest years were with middle-aged children, which theirs are now 9 and 11. So in the summer, I say, don't even come in because I know how hard those years were. So she's flexibility there that she wouldn't get anywhere else.
How was the business in general? Your particular area booming? Are you at capacity right
Very
now?
much so. Well, this year, once again, this will be record sales for us again this year, and business up last year 17%. We'll probably be up 10% this year, and we project another increase next year. It's going to be a record amount of sales for us. Things couldn't be any better than they are, really.
Now, you're both originally from that part of the state,
We are.
correct?
We are.
And I noticed have been involved in the Women's Shelter, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Salvation Army, Junior Achievement. It must be important for you to give back to your community.
It is, from the aspect that at one point in time, our business was across the street from the women's shelter. So we saw that on an everyday basis. So that's probably the number one organization we support, because it's a no-brainer for us. We saw that for 10 years. You know, what takes place, the people that need help. Plus, when you have a successful business, you need to give back to the community. And that's the way we feel about it. Big Brothers Big Sisters, another excellent organization that we support. But it's something where you're successful, you need to give back.
And it's all of Elkhart County. Elkhart County is a very giving community.
Let me loop back to the original thought about Purdue. What did you learn here? And you were in different areas, different subjects. What did you learn here that really helped propel you and got you set up for your careers?
Well, at Krannert, it's an excellent business school, and it gave you a great foundation. You know, they have business case courses or whatever, and which I thought was excellent, because now we're running our own business case, except it's your money. But it gave you excellent training on making decisions as far as that goes. And you always thought about, hey, someday do I want to own my own business or whatever. So it progressed, and we got a great opportunity, and we made the most of it.
And we actually have I was a Spanish teacher for 3 years, and we have a lot of Spanish-speaking employees. So
you're able to use that to this day?
I use that to this day, yeah.
What message do you have today for the students?
And this is the message I'm going to have at the presentation, and that is this. My message to Krannert, the men and women I've talked to at Krannert, is you don't have to work for a high-tech company. You don't have to start a high-tech company. You don't have to work for a big corporation. You need to, or you can, identify a need in a market and do the best job of filling that need, and you can be successful. You can have a successful career doing that. You don't have to be high-tech.
Sewing curtains is not high tech, but we have a successful company.
Obviously profitable.
Obviously profitable.
Correct.
Yes.
Jim and Janet, we really thank you. Appreciate you taking the time, and hope you have a great day on campus today.
Thank you.
Thank
Boiler
you.
up.
All right, for Jim and Janet Mellott, I'm Tim Newton.